Yes, watch out for the jar of honey. In my live yesterday, I joked about having a guy because I do. People have different guys or dealers. I love to brag about my honey dealer because I have a honey dealer. I have a guy. I have a honey guy, and I love my honey guy because I get the best honey. And because I live here in Hawaii, what's up, Maya? What's up, beautiful? Beautiful recognizes beautiful. I have my coconut. Thank you. You know, I'm trying out different lipsticks. So this is actually from Fenty called Mademoiselle PMS, I believe. So thank you. It's something different. And I remember buying them because at Sephora, this was like a year or two ago, all of these Fenty lipsticks were like $3 or $5. So I just bought all of them. I appreciate that, Maya. That's very sweet of you. Thank you for complimenting me on my lipstick. I feel like my dark feminine. So thank you. And I encourage you, try different lipstick. I have spoken about that, like just going and saying, yo, let me buy a new lipstick. Let me buy a new lip gloss, and that feeling. And it doesn't matter the price of it. And I have my coconut. Exactly. And be different, because I love my red lipstick. As you see, I love my red, and it does feel good. I typically love a bright, vibrant red lipstick or nude, glossy, golden. Those are my typicals. So this isn't typical. However, I enjoy it. And I'm enjoying my coconut because I got a new supply of coconuts. I'm so excited. However, my honey guy. So I brag because I have a honey dealer. Like, people have all types of dealers. I have my honey dealer. And here in Hawaii, as I have shared before, I do a lot of somewhat bartering, but there is a space of without money transactions on the island. So I'm a forager. I go and forage most of my fruits or vegetables. I know the farmers that will say, hey, Hope, this is in bloom, this is in season, and they'll let me acquire any fruits, vegetables, herbs, and in return, within a span of a week, I cook every day. I will return to the farmer or the person with some delicious food that I've prepared. Thank you. Thank you for liking the live. Please share it because you know it's going to get good. So, my honey guy. I practice, I have a, you don't have enough to pay cash for me. So, user 578. The price is already going up in the moment. You don't have it. So please don't play money games, because that's the problem. Some gentlemen try to play that money game and you don't know where I'm at or where I've been. So the price you think may not even be in the realm. It may be so low that I'm like, get out of here. You don't even have it to negotiate. So my honey dealer. I do an Indian Lakota sweat lodge once a month. I have shared with my followers. I told the gentleman that, see, you get me into different stories. You don't want to play money games, because the first money game I played, my father put me in a position. So whatever you bring, which is fantastic, and I believe in you, and I love you for what you bring. However, I've been doing this. And when you try to play a money game, it's not about monetary, it's not about a monetary number. Because I am love, and I am adventurous. What's up, Tone Fly and Ephraim? You know you good with me. You right here by my side, so you don't need to worry about that. What's cooking? As far as cooking right now, I got my coconuts. But I'm here to tell you about my honey dealer after I drink my refreshing coconut water. That's right, Nisi. That's right. It's all in perfect alignment, perfect timing, perfect attraction. It's not about enticing. There's no way you can entice me to have you in my life. I know what's for me. I'm connected to me. I'm resonate with me. I'm intuitive. I'm a goddess. I know these things. So what you think you're throwing out ain't nothing. I don't know what people cherish. And if they cherish money, maybe that works for them. I'm not here to judge someone for what they cherish. That you live in a country where everything is based off of money. So that's what it is. That's neither good or bad to me. It's just what it is. So yes, I have my sweat lodge once a month. I have my card here. I'm a part of the Choctaw. Good day, Aaron. What it do? It's good to see you. I love when you come in because you bring your perspective and your other good energy. So I like that. So I am a part of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. And I've shared with people if you needed assistance with being registered as a Native American, I am here to assist. My mother's side, both of her parents are of Choctaw ancestry as well as Cherokee. However, that's what I identify with. And due to the final count of the Native Americans on the Dawes Rolls, DAWES. You can find it on USA .gov. You can find the Dawes Rolls. And if you can find a direct lineage, which was my grandfather, he was on the Dawes Roll, as well as his mother and his two siblings. Now, my grandfather was 4 at the time when they took the final counting of Native Americans within the U.S. and Oklahoma. From there, I took that. I'm Hope. Don't tell me what I am, Fish. You don't know what I am. You are taking your perspective and sharing with me, which has nothing to do with me. That's okay. You can come and see this live on my YouTube page on Hope is Speaking. Thank you for coming, Maya. I am everything. I identify as Hope. If it's indigenous, don't guess. I can tell you, and that's only what I know. That's okay. We are much more than we are aware. So I don't limit. Here's the truth. Most of your history you'll never know. And that's with everyone. Here's another tidbit. Most of your ancestors don't look like you. If you go back, there's so many branches, especially with men prior would have several families. So you don't, whatever you think you know is what you think you know. But if you actually had the ability to see everyone in your lineage, it may amaze and shock you. So, Choctaw, and I resonate deeply with that, and I resonate deeply with my indigenous or native ancestors, and I have practices surrounding that. And one of the practices for me to learn that part of me is going to the Indian Sweat Lodge. Yeah, and I can pull a lot of these things, Nisi. I'm quite powerful, so I can just ask and I will receive it. Maybe it's in a dream. Maybe it's in when I'm dancing. But yeah, you can. I believe we all actually have ability to gain these answers. If there's something more that I need, I'll be directed to that entity or person or place or thing. However, I'm quite confident that I can receive that. So once a month, I go to the Sweat Lodge and I have a person on the island because I live in Hawaii who is like my godfather. He moved here about 30, 40 years ago and did a lot of these indigenous practices. And yes, I'm doing that right now, girl. I got to build up. I'm a storyteller. I can't give it to you all at once because it'll circle back around. Yeah, and as I've said, Aaron, because of my 15 years with the airline, I've seen so many cultures that I love it, and I'm open to it, and I'm always learning about it. And that's also the other side of me learning languages, because languages, you're really learning the culture. There's so much you learn about a culture through the language, because when you translate certain words from English, some of them don't even translate. What's up, King? Yes, and I love my piercings. Especially in a Latin-based language like French or Spanish, there may be a word for immense love that can't be translated into English. So you miss that. You miss out on the depth of the word. Instead of me saying immense love, there's actually a word that means more than that. What's up, Silos? I'm glad to see you. You always popping in. I care about you. I do have a kahuna, and everyone's my kahuna. Everyone's my teacher in some way. So he introduced me to the Sweat Lodge. Now, the people at the lodge, I'm like at least 50 years younger than them. Between 40 and 50 years younger than them. Most of my friends on the island, I'm anywhere from 20 to 40 years, they're junior. I love someone with wisdom, and some of these whippersnappers don't know nothing, and that's okay too, because we're all learning in real time. However, I'm being guided, so I'm around people that I trust and that I learn from in some way. And so Sundance, who's my godfather, invited me to the Sweat Lodge, the Dakota Indian Sweat Lodge. It is not my native sweat lodge. However, it's the closest that I can get. And through that, I am relating to my Choctaw Native American ancestry. And so once a month, I go to the lodge and we do a sweat. Now, with the Sweat Lodge, I'm committed. So I actually helped build the lodge. So we went out into the forest and I like to find a lot of branches on the ground, not always cutting them from the tree. Hold on, let me hydrate. And I'm very proud. I've been opening my coconuts myself. I'm growing in life. Let me tell you, I'm thriving. I'm opening my coconuts. I don't even need anyone to open them for me. However, I will accept if you say, Hope, would you like me to open your coconut? Yes, please. And I can do it myself. It is. And so is the gentleman that gave them to me, because it's always nice for a nice, beautiful, golden, glowing man to offer you some delicious coconuts. I take it all. I love the beauty in everywhere. I love the beautiful coconut, the beautiful man that gave me the coconuts, okay? So, at the lodge, I helped construct the lodge. So we went out into the forest and we gathered all these branches from the, I think we used guava or kiave. And it's the truth, King. It is the truth. So we're gathering the branches and I'm out there like, here's the other thing. I'm learning in real time. Because my dad did all this for me. I am not the one you ask to go cut the lawn. I'm not going to do it. Like, I gladly will watch you do it. I will gladly hand you a glass of cold water while you mow the lawn. But I'm not going to do it. My energy is best served in other places. I love finding someone to do it. I love employing someone to do it. I just haven't. So the fact that I went to get all the branches. We got all these branches and put them in the back of a truck. And it's me and Sundance and someone else and Old School Mike and Oklahoma Bill. These are these people's names in my sweat lodge, okay? I'm on this frequency too. This is the color of the frequency. Come on now. And thank you for liking and sharing the live, because you know it always gets better. It always gets better. So yeah, me, and then, so it was me, Old School Mike, Oklahoma Bill, what's his name that I see his face but don't remember his name, Sundance, and what's her name? And their names will come to me. What's up? Health and Wellness LLC, what you cooking today? There's plenty of plant-based ceremonies throughout the island. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all your flags too. I see the Israeli flag, the American flag, and from this perspective, it almost looked like the Ethiopian flag, but it's not. Please let me know what flag that is, because I love identifying flags. Ethiopia, I was right. Look at me, man. You can't tell me nothing. Who else but Hope? Okay, I said that looks like the Ethiopian. I know. So what is that girl? Anyway, I did. That's, trust yourself, Hope. So thank you. We gathered all the branches. We put them in a truck. Okay. And then that was Saturday. I know, I'm real saucy. I know. Just let me simmer. Okay. So that was on a Saturday, where I had the little hacksaw and the thing, and it was hours in the forest, like with the intention of building a new lodge. That was Saturday. So on Sunday, we built the lodge. Thank you for the roses, PFW. I'm a representative. That's what's up. Thank you for the roses. You know I love roses. You know I love gifts. I'm never going to turn away a gift. Ever. So that Sunday, we get to our site where we have the sweat lodge quite early. I think I got there at 5 or 6, because we have to deconstruct the old lodge that had been there for years. And it's in the shape of a dome with all of the branches. So we have to untie it, and it's tied up with twine, natural fibers. And it's brittle, and it's been up for years. So I am a part of the group that took down the old lodge, took all of the branches that we had acquired the day before in the rainforest, and now we trimmed all of the little branches off the big branches, and we start constructing a new lodge by putting the firm bit into the ground and like bending it to make a dome-like shape. So maybe 12 to 16 people can fit inside this lodge. However, you have to clear the area. It's up in this area called Kula, which is near Haleakala, which is the dormant volcano here on Maui, and pull all the rocks and the weeds. And it was strenuous. It was a complete day. However, I felt connected to do this because I'm getting back to my roots, my Choctaw roots. And all the old timers, because they're all in their like mid 70s, they're like, wow, Hope is like using what's that thing called? Like a hatchet. I don't even know what these things are called. I'm really learning in real time, and I'm proud of myself. But some of the stuff I won't do. Like the big axe, I don't want to have any parts of that. That thing, I can swing it, but if I do, it's like later I'll pick that up. I'm not going to do it now. So I gave that to Old School Mike. Now, Old School Mike has been doing these plant-based ceremonies and sweat lodges for years. And I think he's 72. Like everyone's in their 70s, and then it's me. And then there's Oklahoma Bill, who's actually, yeah, these are the people in my lodge. Then Oklahoma Bill is from Oklahoma, you guessed it. He's lived in Hawaii for, I think, 40 years. He helps out with people recovering from alcoholism. He's been clean from alcohol for, I think, over 40 years. He still attends his meetings, and he helps other veterans and people who are in that journey from recovering from alcohol abuse. And he's a very kind individual. He usually comes to the lodge with like a cigar in his mouth. He looks like someone who would be named Oklahoma Bill. And he hops out of his truck and there's like a bunch of stuff in his truck. He usually has a dog and like stuff. But I like his truck. So we spend the whole day making the new lodge, building it, getting twine. Sometimes I would be the twine cutter. Like, okay, here's twine, because there's about 8 of us constructing it. And then once we construct it, there's kind of a prayer. However, it takes hours to construct this huge lodge. After this live, I'll put up a video about the lodge. Thank you, Nisi. That's what I do, you know. I live it so I can tell it. Yes, several times. I'm buying a home there, and I spent a month throughout the Pacific coast of Costa Rica last year, driving up and down to see where I felt the best. So yes, I've been to Costa Rica several times, and I am purchasing a home in Costa Rica. So then you just saw Oklahoma Bill. Exactly. That's the point, to build the story so you can see it. What's up, T? So then what we use to cover the lodge is always hearts. Always lovely to see you, my main man. There's a shed because the lodge is on someone's lot and she owns like acres. And on her acreage, this woman she built her home. She sketched it. She's not an architect, but she did this 30 years ago. She had architecture paper and she sketched out her home and the square footage. And she was like, Hope, I'll teach you how to do it. Amazing people. Amazing. So the lodge is on her land on one of the open areas. She has a shed that's full of the coverings. So blankets, you know, those storage moving blankets that are insulated that you get from U-Haul, a lot of those, sleeping bags. So we have like probably 200 of those. And before the lodge, we throw those on top and completely cover the lodge. So it is completely dark. It is completely insulated, isolated. No light goes in, no light comes out. So the lodge is covered with all of these old blankets, moving blankets, sleeping bags, and we all like go around it. It takes like 6 people to throw all of these coverings on the lodge. So this is the process for the day of the lodge, which is typically for this lodge on a Sunday. So I get there early. Sometimes I fast because the whole thing is a ceremony. However, before I leave my home, I've showered, I've done a meditation, I journal, I set an intention for the lodge, what I'm seeking to release, what I'm seeking to call in. And yeah, listen, if it calls, Hawaii does call. It does call, respond. There's a lot of healing and there's something that's needed for you here. And it doesn't have to be retirement. It may be sooner. That's a message specifically for you, Nisi. So after I do that, I usually have a tea and something light if I don't fast. We go up to the lodge. We erect the lodge. Then I am not, thank you. What's up, Jazzy Tones? I am not a fire carrier yet because everyone has a role. And we're speaking of much gratitude, gratitude received and gratitude given. There's different roles. So who builds the fire? There's a role. That's a role. That's a different entity. That's a different perspective that takes something different. I have yet to build the fire. I erect the lodge, I will cover the lodge, but I have yet to build the fire, and I don't carry the stones, which are the grandfathers. So we build a fire, and that's where we put the stones. Now, each stone is the representative of the ancestors, which we would call the grandfather and grandmother. Thank you, King. I have modeled, yes, before. When the right opportunity comes, I will do it again. In the meantime, I'm just modeling what a good life looks like, King. Okay? That's it, and that's all. And it's only getting better. Yes, grandfather and grandmother, or the grandfathers, yes. That is its own spiritual meaning, and it's protected. So we have 4 sweat sessions. Thank you, King. Every session, you bring in 7 stones. So what is that? 7 times 4, which is 28, correct? 7, 14, 21, 28. Yes. So every round, you bring in 7 new stones. However, when you're building the fire, you build a pit, you bring the wood, you get it really hot, you stuff the fire with paper, you let it get very hot. Then within the fire, you place the stones. Thank you, T. You put more wood on the fire and you let the stones get very hot. I mean, the first time I had a lodge, it reminded me of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Like at the end, when you see the burning, the like orange bright stones, that's how hot the stones get. So once the fire is going, and it takes about an hour for it to get very hot, the spirit line is put down on the ground. Now within indigenous culture, specifically, let me speak specifically as thank you, and I'm glad to see you, Cassandra. We got another one. Within Native ancestry, tobacco is a holy, sacred herb thing, highly regarded material. So once you build the fire, you lay down a spirit line that starts at the fire and goes into the lodge. So it's a straight line of tobacco from the fire to the sweat lodge. Since that's the spirit line, meaning the spirit, the movement, the energy is moving from the fire through the tobacco into the lodge, me are not able to, yes, it is. It's sacred. It's sacred. Tobacco is sacred. You're not able to cross over the spirit line. So during ceremony, if you have to get to the other side of the lodge, you must go around. You cannot step over the spirit line. Once the spirit line is down, you're aware. And if you need to go into the lodge, you have to walk around. It's all a ceremony. It follows a certain order. So once the spirit line is down, the fire is going. The grandfathers are in the fire, which are the rocks. There's 7 rocks per session. They're getting hot. Then we've done our preparation. It's time for us to start preparing. So at this time is usually when I meditate or pray, and we prepare our prayer ties. So prayer ties are, I probably have some fabric, but prayer ties are a fabric such as this. You would take the prayer tie and you put a little tobacco in the middle of the prayer tie. However, the prayer tie is only about this big, okay? So it's about this big. You put tobacco in the middle, and if you're praying for the health of your grandmother, you say, okay, I'm praying for the health of my grandmother. This is for the health of my grandmother. Then you can grab another prayer tie with the color red. Every color means something. Green may be earth. Red may be health. White may be clearing or clarity. Blue means something. Black means something. Purple means something. Every color prayer tie means something. So you can create as many prayer ties as you would like to heal the world, to take away any resistance in my life, whatever. And you make the prayer ties on a red string and you put it around your neck as a necklace. So during the lodge, when it gets really, really hot, you can grab onto that prayer tie and say, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm praying. This is why I'm suffering. This is why I'm enduring this. And it's the reminder of why you are in the lodge. So during that time, I'm always very quiet because the ceremony has started. And after we complete our prayer ties, you put them on your neck and then we begin the smudge. So typically someone has one of those pails with like charcoal at the bottom and they'll put either sage. Well, I'll get to that, Nisi, because it is something. This is the first time that I did it. Now, I've been doing it almost 2 years now. So someone comes up to you and they cleanse you. So they have the sacred herb of sage and they cleanse your head, your body, your hands, your legs. You lift up your feet. They cleanse your feet. You turn around and they put all of the sage smoke on you. You're completely cleansed. I then change into a fashionable muumuu. However, every lodge has different practices. Some people may even go nude. Some people may wear bathing suits. I had an interesting event because there was one of the elders, and I was in workout clothes as I typically am, and she said, Hope, you can't wear that in the lodge. I said, well, why? She said, it's dark and there's men and we have to be modest. And I'm thinking, what is she on about? This is a religious ceremony. No one's thinking about that but you. Okay, I'll take that as a hint. And I said, well, this is all I have because when I was invited, I was told that this workout clothing would be appropriate. No, you have to be modest. Now, this woman is like 78, and I'm going to leave it there. So I said, okay, so what is your solution? Because this is what I have available. I am solution-based. I am not going to reiterate the problem that you told me. I am always the solution. I am a solution maker. I'm a solution finder. Therefore, if this is not appropriate, what solutions can we take in this moment? Because this is what I have. That isn't on the person, okay? That's off of me. Has nothing to do with me. She says, Hope, I have something for you. I said, okay, great. We have a solution. So this woman goes and finds a oversized, prairie dress. Now, when I say prairie dress, I am quite small, okay? I am I don't know how much I weigh. I don't weigh myself. Yeah, muumuu is fine. That's a part of Hawaiian culture. That's fine. I have beautiful vintage muumuus. However, the thing that this lady brought me, let me tell you, I'm 5'8". I don't know how much I weigh, but I'm anywhere between 122 to maybe 135 pounds. I don't know how much I weigh. That's the range. I am small. I can assure you this thing was 6X. And when she brought this to me, again, this lodge is held on someone's property and she has several acres. So the woman, it gets better. The woman who we hold the sweat lodge, she also does capoeira. And so we're in her studio where she has a bathroom where you can pee, you can change. There's a kitchen. We have tea. So old girl comes out like, hey, Hope, I have this for you. And I'm looking like, okay, universe, because universe, this is a part of my life. It's always hilarious. And I take it as that. That's the funny stuff that happens to me, but that's how the universe provides. This woman provided a muumuu that was 6X. I am a size 0, probably 00. So 6X, it just looked like I was fabric and a floating head. Okay? So I put on this mop. Because again, this is my first lodge. I'm here with all the old timers. Everyone is 70 plus, okay? Everyone is 70 plus. And then there's me. And now I'm in a muumuu, okay? I'm in a muumuu that's for someone who is several times larger than me. You know what? I did not take pictures. And I'm glad I did it, because let me tell you, I come out of the changing space. And as I said, this is a lot of land. She has at least 4 homes on this land. You got to leave it down, because it gets better. You have to walk through like an area where there's Meyer lemons and apples and coffee cherries and all of this luscious stuff to get back to where the sweat lodge is. So I come out in my muumuu. I look like Little House on the Prairie. I'm even laughing at myself like, the sleeve is supposed to be here. The sleeve is like down to my fingers. This is ridiculous. Joke's on you, Hope, because now you know. But I'm doing this for the spiritual practice. Maybe my ancestors said, we need to laugh. So here you go. So I walk out in my Little House on the Prairie dress. That's why I called it. Because it had the ruffles up here. It had like it looked hilarious. Like I did not take a picture. When I tell you, all you would have to do is look at this picture at any time in your life and you would immediately laugh. Because it's me trying to be spiritual and connect, and I'm in a Little House on the Prairie muumuu that is 6 times bigger than me. I look like a ghost because I'm just coated in all this fabric, okay? So I get back to where we're doing the lodge. Now my godfather, whose name is Sundance, he looks and he just is looking at me like, why are you wearing that? Yeah. And he was like, Hope, they put you in the Little House on the Prairie dress. Why'd they put you in that? I said, Sundance, where I'm not going to go there with you right now. I'm not going there with you. Okay. I'm not doing it. I can laugh, but I'm not doing it with you. Okay. I'm here for the goal of going in the lodge. I'm not doing it with you. Not now. Old girl that was my initiation. Okay. Add into the fact I'm already going into the sweat lodge with all of this fabric. I did not calculate like this extra fabric is holding in all of this heat. Okay. So we go into the lodge, and before we go into the lodge, we say in the Lakota language, like that we're grateful to start. Oh yeah, because it gets better. I may tell the whole story, or listen. So we go in and it's completely dark. So at this time, I think there's 4 or 5 women on one side of the lodge, and it's like a tent. So imagine going inside a camping tent. It's completely dark. 6 women on one side, 6 men on the other side. They're all in muumuus. I'm in the ultimate muumuu because it's 6 times as big as me. And I look like a hot air balloon that has not been inflated. But it is what it is. Now, ceremony has started. So the people that handle the stones, they are outside of the lodge getting the stones out of the fire, right? So one person scoops the stone on a shovel and hands it to another person, puts it on his big shovel, and he comes into the lodge and he hands it to one more person who's in the lodge. That person has the hot stone on what is that thing? I don't know, a rake of some sort, and places that in the middle of the lodge. They do that 7 times. Now we have 7 hot stones in the middle of the lodge. Someone brings the water in. The water carrier is a whole nother person. They bring the water in because this is the water that has a ladle that will be poured on top of the stones to create the steam during the ceremony. Once the water is brought in, it is blessed, there's a prayer that is said, and it is placed by the leader of the ceremony who does all of the singing. He may have the drum, someone else may have the drum, but there's one major kahuna who leads the ceremony. So once the water is in, the front flap where we came in is closed. And the ceremony starts. So it may start the first round because there's 4 rounds, 7 stones per round. Usually the leader of the ceremony will sprinkle the stones with palo santo or lavender or copal or some other resin to bring that beautiful smell and the element of whatever that will bring into the space. And he will announce this is the first session. This is the session where we're inviting our ancestors in. This is the session where we're allowing all the good to come in. Every session has a different intention. Yes, he's definitely the kahuna. And he was a fire dancer, a sun dancer as well, which I'll explain. So now that it has started, he sprinkles the stones with something that smells beautiful. He pours a little water, the steam goes in, and he starts one of the songs. So he'll start a song and someone will be beating a drum and we can sing along. I didn't know any of the songs, so I kind of hummed along, and you're doing your prayers or maybe you're meditating, but it's everyone in complete dark with the glowing stones in the middle. And the first round is hot, but it's not as hot as the 4th round. So you're just getting into it. So every round can go from 10 minutes to 12 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. There's not a direct time, but it's almost like I can relate it to a black church during Sunday service where you have your praise service. A song may be 30 minutes, a song may be 5 minutes. So we have our first session. I'm in this big old house on the prairie dress. Okay, so I'm just fanning it out like, okay, first session, boom. After the first session, they do. It's a beautiful thing. For me, it's a release, just to release and to allow and to pray. So after the first session, it's hot. After the first session, the front flap is lifted up. So air can come in, the steam can go out, and more stones can be brought in because then you're going to start the second session. Not yet. Okay? I'm only at the second session. I'll tell you. So then they bring in more stones, 7 more stones, and a new pail of water. And it's kind of the time to reframe yourself because every session it's getting warmer. So then the flap is closed. Something else is sprinkled on the rocks to give thanks to the ancestors, give praise to who has come in. And maybe the second session is to speak out what you're calling in. Maybe you're calling in health. Maybe you're calling in strength. But that would be the second session with another song or 2, more drumming, more water. It's getting hotter. And I'm just like fanning my moo-moo. Okay? Because it's getting hot in here. And I can't take off all my clothes. I was already told you can't even wear the workout outfit. And I don't know why I couldn't wear the workout outfit. Okay? So, second session, maybe 10, 12 minutes. It's getting hot. Flap comes up, the steam goes out. Now, the steam within the ceremony, that is the breath of the Godfather. That would be the breath of God, the breath of ancestors. When you see that steam in the lodge, for us, it is the physical presence of what God would be, of what spirit would be, of what an ancestor would be, of what help would be. The significance of seeing the steam and how thick it is the physical manifestation of that. So we call that the Godfather's breath. So then a lot of times when the flap is lifted, people go and they want to breathe that steam in. What's up, Sherry? Good to see you. Because that is like inhaling God. Now we're on to the third, okay? Now the third is, okay. The third is the prayer round. Now I'm very hot, and I have to say, because I'm in the deflated hot air balloon of the moo that is 6 times bigger than me, all of this steam is like, it looks like I'm a teapot and steam is just coming out of my moo. It's hot. It is hot. And I'm holding on to my prayer ties like, okay, this is what I came in for. Okay, I could, yes. It is hot. Now, I was raised in a very animated Pentecostal church, okay? My father would lead the testimony service. So I will relate, if anyone in the chat knows about the testimony service, especially in a black church, it can be quite animated. It can be quite cinematic. It can be funny, because I would see people say, and I'm relating this to the church during testimony service. When I was a child, it is loud, and people say all sorts of things. I remember someone saying, they were supposed to cut my lights off, but, the Lord made sure that they went to the wrong house and my lights didn't get cut off. And that's how the Lord blessed me this week. And my dad, who was the pastor, would say, like, okay, take the microphone. Like, sometimes you got to my dad would cut the microphone when people would go over the time, or would say, that may not be a blessing. That sounds like a mistake. But testimony service was always funny, okay? That's really how I learned. Like, I have so many beautiful stories about testimony service. He would cut the mic. My dad would come and take the mic from you, because people love to get the mic. They love to shine. There ain't a lot of times where people can shine, but in church, when they got testimony service, oh man, you see all of it. Now, bring this back to the Sweat Lodge. The prayer round was out loud, okay? So imagine testimony service in a sauna. In a sauna. That's how I saw it, okay? Man, you better come back, because this is where it gets good. I'm thinking, because my father was the pastor, my grandmother was the pastor. I've seen all of this, so I get it. However, this is testimony service in a sauna, because we're in the Sweat Lodge. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've seen this when I was a kid. Now it's hot. There's 7 more stones. At this point, we're at 21 stones. It's hot. This is my first lodge, and now you're letting everyone individually pray at their own time? Oh my gosh, I'm being tested, because people love to talk. I love to talk. But when it's hot, I'm in this moo that looks like a deflated hot air balloon. We have about 12 people in here, and now my faith is being tested, because I wanted to talk to the ancestors. I'm talking to them now. However, first person starts with their prayer, and it is full of everything. I'm praying for, my cousin who I haven't seen in 7 years, who called me, and I didn't call them back, but I heard from my grandmother's auntie's cousins that they got in a car accident. So I'm in here in the Sweat Lodge to pray for them. And I'm thinking, we got to cut it, because it's hot. Okay? And I get it. This is a sacred space. But y'all praying for alternators. Y'all are praying for like people you haven't talked to in 18 years. Why is that the thought? This is my true thought. It is hot. And you can't say anything. So I'm kind of rolling my eyes like, I get it. This is a sacred practice. But there are 10 other people that are praying out loud. You know, I'm praying because I've been sneezing a lot. And I think grandfather is trying to teach me something. And last time sneezing? And I'm not here to critique your prayers. However, we're in a sweat lodge. It's very hot. It's a very spiritual place. But I am being tested in real time. And I'm thinking oh my gosh, when it gets really hot, you can lay close to the ground because the ground is cool. So I was about to say, you know what? My ancestors told me to tell you that this ain't the time. But I decided to lay on the cool ground because we're on the dirt. People were praying for, listen, let me not even critique it. Just imagine prayer service in a hot sauna that's completely dark, getting hotter in the moment, no water, and you're there with your faith, okay? So I am like, whoa, okay. My prayer's got to be real quick. My prayer is just like, I give, you know my heart, ancestors and grandfather and spirit, you know my heart. That is my prayer. You already know it. I don't need to say it. You know it, you feel it, you resonate, go on to the next person because the flap needs to be open. Okay. How am I the youngest person in here and y'all chilling in this hot sauna? Like you aren't about to kick the can. Y'all are 70 doing this. All of this is going through my mind. Exactly. And my tongue was so dried out, I couldn't even speak in tongues. You see? So I grew a space of compassion. I grew a space of patience. And finally, the last person who was next to me, I was second to the last, they probably had the longest prayer. And that was ancestors or spirits saying, okay, Hope, this is all for you. This is all for your learning. However, y'all need to cut it. You know my heart. You know my heart, but y'all need to cut it. Y'all need to cut it. It is hot. It is hot. And I'm all for the prayers, but it is hot. Okay. It is hot. All my little sweat glands have given all they can give. Okay. And I believe my prayers are answered. Okay. But we need to lift up this flap. Okay. Because I still got this moo-moo on. So we finished the third round. Okay. Finally. Flap comes up. I'm like, whoa. This is something. This is something. Thank you, Make Change. So, the fourth round in the sweat lodge, this is the Lakota Indian Sweat Lodge. This is the final round. And I'm wondering how these old timers are still standing. Because as I said, exactly, there's another round. Okay? They said, does anyone want water? Yep. I want my water. My water's right outside the lodge. Just pass it around. Please. This is my first time. I need to hydrate. So, I was about to, listen, it was getting hot in there, Cassandra. I was about to take off all my little clothes. Okay? That's how my natives did it. That's how I'm going to do it. Because it's too hot. And I love it. I love a steam room and a sauna. But I'm up here in my little house on the prairie, Moo that is 6X. And I am a 00. Like, I'm about to inflate and fly away from the steam. So we pass around the water. Typically, the water is passed around like in a communal cup. I don't do that. And my ancestors understand that. So I bring my own cup. Everyone can share their cup. I bring my own cup. I bring my own thing of water. And I'm okay with that. Bring me my thing of water. Let me hydrate for this last round, baby. For this last round, because I committed. but I'm here for this last round. I'm sweating. My skin is glowing because I've sweated everything out of me. Flap is up. Grandfather's breath goes out. That's what was about to happen. That is what was about to happen. But sometimes these are a test, okay? So I drink my little water. Flap goes up. Cool air comes in. Then they say, okay, let's start the 4th round. They bring in the final 7 stones and the final pail of water. Cool. I've done it. I'm at the last session. I've done it. The last session was so quick. I know these old timers were like, we probably can't. The last session felt like 6 minutes. It was just like okay, complete. Everybody ready? I mean, everybody knew that prayer round almost took us all out. All them prayers were lifting us into a new space and time and reality. However, it's time to go. I've received what I needed to receive. I've released what I needed to release. Y'all have prayed for everybody and everything. Spirit knows my heart. Open the flap. It's been wonderful. Okay, it's time to go. And that was the first lodge. And before you even go into the lodge, sacred sage is given to everyone. So I usually have sage on my ear, and sage, like sometimes you eat. You eat the sage to purify you, but I'm purified. I am purified, honey. I'm pure as they come. Let me out. So the flap is lifted and you have to go in a specific order. I think it's clockwise. And you like climb out. Lord, help me, Jesus. That was the first time I was like, whoo-wee. I'm so happy to be out of that space. And I gained what I needed. I did grow from it. However, that prayer round brought me back to New Life Assembly, which was my father's church back when I was a kid. And these whippersnappers saying everything. I'm praying for the cup that fell off my table when I was drinking some apple juice watching Wheel of Fortune. And then I started, is that a prayer? Do you need to pray for a cup? Like, this is, I'm not even making this stuff up. I've heard this stuff. So, exactly. I used to go to those. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I used to go to those, and I have a lot of funny stories about them. Thank you, Janine. So after the completion of thank you for the roses, of the sweat lodge, you come out, everyone hugs and says thank you. We drink water, and we break down the tent. And that same person that gave me the 6X moo-moo, listen, I'm joking about this, but everyone can pray in their own unique way. I don't believe there's a exact science to it. To me, it's in your own way. This is partially joking, and this is also just my observation. However, I don't believe there's a perfect or a right way to do anything, especially with life. So how they do it, I laugh because, yeah, maybe the cup did need to be prayed for. Exactly. It's a personal experience. This is also a part of my storytelling. However, I am completely open and observant to however anyone does any practice that's meaningful to them. Let me state that. This isn't to demean or not acknowledge anyone's practice. Someone's practice is their practice, and it's for them. It's not for me to label. So that is it. However, I was ready to get out. So we got out, we hugged. The person that gave me the moo-moo was like, Hope, you got to break down the lodge. Like, chill. I know that. Why are you going at me? So after we finish, we break down the lodge, and your prayer tie, the necklace you make with the tobacco, with the fabric around it, you throw that into the fire where the stones were heated. So then that catches fire, and the prayers that you were giving for each pouch for your prayer tie is going into the atmosphere directly to spirit or creator or whatever you would like to label. And then we change and have a potluck. We all bring something and we eat and kind of fellowship. And good to see you, Veteran 51. I'm happy to see you. You are always wanted and loved here. So just know you are a hopeful. So while we have our little potluck, which I don't do potlucks, okay? I cook really good food. I don't know what y'all cooking, okay? I don't know how clean your kitchen is, and I'm okay with that. Now, if it's a package of something that can be opened, I take that. But I gotta connect and feel the food. Thank you. They call it a potluck or a fellowship because this is held in the woman's home. She also does capoeira, so she has a huge space with a kitchen, and we go in there and arrange the chairs and talk and laugh and then go on. So while we're having this little potluck, and I only eat things that are closed, because sometimes, especially with vegans or vegetarians, it's not always delicious. So I don't always eat it, but I check in with myself. Is this okay? No, I won't eat that. Oh, okay. Some fresh pineapple. They just call it fellowship or a potluck. That's what I've heard. So while the potluck, no group food. No. Even though it's all blessed and lovely, no, and no. So while we're eating, the woman's whose property that we're on exactly, and I trust that, Nisi. I'm very in tune with that. That's a superpower that I'm still learning, and I trust. As we're eating, she has a few renters on her property. She has built about 3 homes on this property of maybe 10 acres. And so as I'm going to my godfather's car, because I ride up with this guy named Sundance, he's 72. He is almost like a grandfather or a father to me on the island, and is protective and really looks out for me. I have a great circle of people who love and care and respect and support me on the island. I understand that too, completely, Veteran 51. As I was going to put my bag of stuff in his car, because I changed out of the muumuu, and he had said, "Hope, you look like you were working in the house." I said, again, Sunday, we aren't going to go there. We aren't going to go there. Okay. I made it work. We aren't going to go there, Sundance. He said, "You came out of the house. I was wondering why they got her looking like American Girl, like Addie from the American Girl series. She looked like she's the one cleaning in the house." I said, Sundance, we're going to stop. It served its purpose, okay? All right, so I will go on. So as I'm dropping my stuff in his car, I meet one of the guys that lives in one of her rentals. And one of the lady that owns the house, whose name is, I'm going to call her Esmeralda. Esmeralda says, "Oh, Hope, have you met Russ?" I said, "No, I haven't met Russ." She said, "Oh, he has some lovely honey." I said, "Great. I'm looking for a honey guy." He said, "Yeah, do you want some honey now?" I said, "I would love some honey." And this is the story of how I met my honey dealer. He said, "Great. I actually am a beekeeper at the macadamia nut trees up in this area, not far from where I live here on Maui." I said, "Fantastic. Fantastic," because I had a friend who was cultivating bees and honey, but she never does. So I find the universe will bring it to me. He said, "Would you like some honey now?" I said, "Great." So he brings me this huge, beautiful mason jar, like a 64-ounce mason jar of fresh honey. Yeah, it comes full circle. So I was like, great. Listen, only hope. I got my personal honey dealer, macadamia nut trees. Okay, we don't need to go to the store. I got the deal. I got my own dealer. I got a honey dealer. Let me call him. I got a guy. So that's how I met my honey dealer. And he tells me all about the bees and how many times he's been stung. He says, oh yeah, once I was stung like hundreds of times. Like, I just don't even feel it, but that's why we wear all this stuff. I'm like, hundreds? At one time? He said, oh yeah, all over my legs and here, like hundreds of times. I'm thinking that's insane, but cool. You do that so I can have my honey. Said, how much do I owe you? He said, I usually charge like $20, but this is for you. No, this is for you. And it's always beautiful because to me, it's a semblance of what I'm putting out. There's a reason why I met my honey dealer and he says, no, that's my gift to you. That's my gift to you. I will come back and buy more, but that's my gift to you. And knowing the person that tends to these bees, and I ask them about the bees and I ask them about how it's cultivated, and that full circle of my first sweat, and then I got my honey plug. That's right, T. Got my honey plug all the time. Just call up. Listen, I need my honey plug. And that's where I get honey to give to friends and family because it means something to me to gift someone something that is from the island, from someone I know, how that helps that cycle. Every time I can connect someone like, oh, I have someone that sells honey. Would you like? Here's their contact. And how that continues that cycle of flow of abundance, of wealth, just through voice and a true sense of connectedness. However, here's also something about how life works through me. My niece, who I love, she's actually in this picture here, comes to see me maybe every 3 to 4 months. She currently goes to Sacramento State, where it's her final year in college, and I'm the cool auntie, so she comes to see me every 3 to 4 months. Exactly. And furthermore, Cassandra, when you eat honey from wherever you are eating the natural antibodies, you're eating the natural pollen, and really what you need to empower you. Because pollen and flowers and trees, all of that we're interacting with whether you know it or not. So it could be strengthening you. So I always enjoy eating natural honey from where I'm at. A lot of honey is collected from other places, and honey is honey. Take it as it resonates. There's neither good nor bad. However, there is a benefit of consuming all foods, specifically honey, from your local area. So my niece flew in to see me because we'll go barefoot hiking to a waterfall. We do all sorts of things. And I had just received this honey. And I'm always drinking tea. You know, I love my cup of tea. Or my coconut water, because I'm so happy about that too. So she came, I picked her up from the airport, brought her to my home. And I said, Najee, would you like some tea? She said, of course. So I grab mango leaves from the mango tree in front of me because mango leaves are great for your respiratory system. They have a lot of magnesium and vitamins and minerals that are helpful for our bodies. I used mamake leaves, which is a sacred plant for the native Hawaiians, and it's great for everything. It's great for women's bodies, meaning our reproductive systems, our respiratory systems, immunity, clarity of mind. It is fantastic. I add cinnamon to everything. It is a magical ingredient. I love cinnamon. I add fresh Hawaiian lemon. Everything that I eat is from the island. as well as turmeric that grows naturally here, or turmeric, and there might have been one other thing. There might have been orange or lemon leaf, because that's delicious, and I make like a tea. So I kept the honey in the fridge because I live in Hawaii and it's warm. So at times ants will find their way to everything. So I keep a lot of things in the fridge. And I take the honey out of the fridge. Well, because the honey had been in the fridge, condensation began to form outside of the jar of honey. And my niece is standing to the right of me. We're in my kitchen. I'm at the counter. I've incorporated all of these leaves into a tea ball. I put it into the tea kettle. I pour hot water and I let it sit. All right? My niece is to my left. Once the tea has sat, I grab some mugs and I put a whole tablespoon of honey inside the mug. And then with the hot tea, I pour the hot tea over the heaping. What's up, Sam? Listen to this. Listen to this. This is a story about Najee. I pour the hot tea over the heaping spoon of honey in the cup, and the honey disintegrates. Is everyone following me? So as I go to open the honey that has condensation outside of this mason jar, I go to open it and my niece is standing to my left. Well, as I open it, because of the condensation, the honey jar, this 64-ounce jar, mason jar of honey, slips out of my hand. Are you following me? So I'm opening it and it just slips out of my hand. It falls directly to the left of me and falls right on my niece's foot. This is the day that she has arrived to Maui. Her aunt just dropped a 64-ounce of solidified honey onto her left foot. And her face immediately goes, ooh. No, Cassandra, exactly. So I'm laughing because I'm thinking, well, Veteran 51, she's kind of doubled over in pain because this huge thing of honey, as I'm trying to prepare her a beautiful cup of tea, tea is not even in the question, because I'm I hope I did not fracture a bone in my 22-year-old niece's foot. This girl just got to the house and now I dropped a mason jar of honey onto her foot. I'm oh my gosh. Okay, that was not intentional. Come sit down. Because her foot starts to swell. I'm oh geez. Do I gotta call her mama? Because I don't even want to listen. It didn't break open. But I'm thinking of, okay, my niece is in good hands because I don't live far from Kaiser, and I don't live far from the this is my life, okay? I don't live far from the urgent care, and I'm also thinking, okay, am I going to tell her mom? Because her mom, my sister, there's some things going on. So she goes to sit down. I said, okay, let's see. Can you move your foot? She can move it. But the middle of her foot is starting to swell. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, I just dropped a mason jar of this beautiful honey from my honey dealer from the macadamia nut trees onto my niece's foot. Okay. So that's exactly what I do. I use frozen peas. You can always use frozen peas or frozen corn. You just break it up and I put it on her foot. Well, it starts to swell. And I said, okay, so What now? Let me take her to the urgent care because it's starting to swell. So I get her in the car because she was only going to stay for like 2 days. I get her to the urgent care. Now she's limping. So I go up to the front and I said, listen, do you have a wheelchair? Like, this is all within maybe 120 minutes of her landing in Hawaii to spend the weekend with me. They said, sure. I said, can you wheel it out to me? I trapped a mason jar of honey on my knee. Like, even me telling the people at the front desk this, they're like, oh, wow, honey, huh? I was like, yeah, it slipped out of my hand. I'm trying to, it's ridiculous. So they give me the wheelchair. I then wheeled the wheelchair out to my car and gingerly usher my niece, whose foot is now swollen, into this wheelchair, wheel her up to the receptionist. In the meantime, I said, Naj, let me take a picture of this because this tops the list. My life is constantly showing me the beauty. However, you're safe with me. You have the insurance and we will work this out. The basis is you'll work this out, even though I just dropped macadamia nut bee honey onto your foot. But of course, no, here's the thing, Cassandra. People believe it. I called a friend like, listen, I'm at the urgent care because I was opening up a mason jar of honey, but I took it out of the fridge and there was condensation, so it slipped out of my hand. The first response was, of course you did, Hope. Yeah, of course you did. Of course, a jar of honey slipped out of your hand and fell on your niece's. Of course, that sounds like you. Of course. Yeah, they know me. Of course. They knew it wasn't like a knife. No, of course, Hope. You were opening honey to make tea and it slips out of your hand and falls right on your niece's foot who's wearing flip-flops. Of course. So, so we go to the urgent care and I said, Nachi, here's the thing. You have school. This is when you make life work for you. You haven't broken anything. Have them write you a note for 7 days, because then you have 7 days here with me and you're going to need that time. You're going to need at least 3 days to rest. But now you have the full week. This is where you just got to see life and get creative. Okay? Because they're going to take x-rays, have them write you a note. So you have 7 days off from school or whatever, because you got to rest and they already know you're traveling. So have them write you a note that you can't travel. Boom. It's exactly what she did. The thing is, whatever life presents to you, make it work for you. She could have easily said, now I'm in Hawaii and I can't do anything. Or actually, I was only going to be here for 2 to 3 days. But because this has happened, I can actually get a note written for 7 to 10 days. In fact, she got 10 days to stay off my foot, to rest, to mean I can't travel back to California. And in reality, I'll rest for 3 days and then hang out with my auntie for the rest. That's what we gonna do. It doesn't matter what life presents to you. It matters how you wrap it up and make it work for you. Even when your auntie drops a mason jar of honey on your foot, make it work for you. Make it work. So we did make it work. I did take that picture. I will actually find the picture and show it to you. And she had nothing broken. She had nothing fractured. It was just like the body was protecting itself, so it will swell up to protect. But nothing was broken. She waited like 2 days and she was good to go. And the doctor laughed. He was like, okay, well, maybe you should not be standing next to your aunt, because if she drops a mason jar of honey on your foot the day you arrive, I don't know what she gonna do for the rest of the week. I said, okay, all right, enough with the jokes. So that was full circle. My honey dealer now is on the run. Like, he picked up and ran. So I'm actually I'm actually looking for another honey dealer, because he like is on the run. I don't know. He took his bees, and I don't know. These things happen. But in the meantime, I did have great honey. I have just found another honey dealer, but that is the story of how I found my honey dealer, and how I dropped a mason jar of honey on my niece's foot. However, we made it work for us. And that's what it's about, making it work for you. Even the Sweat Lodge, there's something that I learned from the Sweat Lodge, and I will make a post about that, because it does mean something for me, for all Indigenous people, but really just people. Because exactly, just humans. I don't see that barrier of, it's not that I don't see it. I do see everything that anyone would call a barrier. So I do see color, I do see nationality, I do see gender. However, just because I see it, it doesn't create an exception for the person. It doesn't create a judgment of the person. It just means nothing to me, because I believe with all of my travels and everyone that I've met, that doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. It's not indicative of anything. How someone looks, how they talk, their expression, their religion. It doesn't. A person is a person, and I allow a person to present the being that they are, without the influx of whatever programming or societal things. And that takes work. And I love, diversity equals power. I love that. I love diversity in all ways. I love age diversity. I love gender diversity. I love cultural diversity. I love language diversity. I love intellectual diversity. I love music diversity. Just diversity creates a space of just everything to learn and see and be acknowledged and grow from, which I find a beauty. And that is a journey too. Again, it's not right or wrong how you see it. It's really the journey of oneself to maybe open ourselves to seeing that there's more than what we may label. And I love age diversity, because there's something to learn from every age. I have never been a person that wanted to be a certain age. I've enjoyed every moment. And I've always looked quite young, so it's not like I was trying to look 18. I'm good. Let me learn in this moment. And that has served me well. I love age diversity. Listen, as I said, a lot of you young whippersnappers, I ain't got no need. I'm only there to listen and listen, because some things I just can't relate to, and that's okay. My nieces and nephews are quite young. They're younger than me, and that's a space for me to learn, because what you care about at 13 may not be what I care about, but so what? That's not the point. The point is to allow it to exist. The point is to allow my 13-year-old niece just to be able to vent and talk to me without me judging or saying. She just be talking. She just be talking. And the beauty of me just listening, without trying to figure it out. People don't need you to figure anything out. They can figure it out. You don't need to help people figure out life. We got it. Even when people ask, it's oftentimes a lack of trust of them figuring it out. We'll just call it poison ivy. You don't have to put the black. And I'm not poison to anything. I'm only goodness and graciousness. And green has been speaking to me a lot this week, so I'm going to take it there. So, the takeaway is, when life speaks, listen. Just sit. Don't process. Don't formulate the response. Listen. When it presents itself, it's often maybe a riddle or a lesson for you to create something beautiful, such as my honey dealer and the beautiful art of me dropping the honey on my niece's foot, and the beauty in what came from that. I'm her guardian. I helped her and said, listen, now you can elongate your time here. And she got it and said, that was a great idea. And just making it work, because life is always working for us, even though we may not believe it, believe it. It's working for you. It's not for you to understand. Oftentimes, it's for you to get to a working space that, oh, now I understand. It was for me to learn, and now I get it. And to allow that freedom of thought, of how is this working for me? How can I allow this to work for me? Is this working for me? Let me challenge myself to see how this is working for me. And yeah, they teach so much. They just be rambling. So, I now have an endless supply of coconuts, and I have a very hot coconut guy, I have to say. Life is always showing me, because after I do my meditations, my journaling, and my prayers in the morning, first thing in the morning, before I even leave my room, I speak and I say, thank you for the beauty in life in every way. And what the universe or creator or universal spirit or God, whatever you would like to label it, has shown me is, let me show you the beauty. Because ladies, it is always lovely to have a beautiful masculine energy. Love to present you with some coconuts. That's always a pleasure. And with some golden, beautiful skin like mine, and beautiful biceps, and just everything about it is just lovely in every way. And the teeth are looking, it's looking good. My coconut provider is definitely providing. I can say that much, and I'm enjoying the blessing. So, yes to the biceps. Yes to the just glowing, golden, radiant brown skin that he has. Yes, my coconut provider. Okay, I got a whole string of new coconuts and an endless supply of the beauty of him. And that is, life's very good to me. It's very good. And it's always nice to have these beautiful accoutrements, I like to call them, or beautiful extras. Accoutrement would be like an extra in French, or like a accoutrement. Yeah, an extra, or something like a little tchotchke. It's gracious, especially with the golden bronze skin. Oh, look at me! I'll just go off because I just look and smile like I am loving my life. I did. Yes, a continuous thread of blessings. I love that. Emotionally available, responsible, responsive, gentleman that is a equal, and that is open and honest and courageous and captivating in all ways, because that's a reflection of me. And listen, I love the biceps. I love to see the back climbing up the coconut tree. Like it's a great sight. Let me tell you, ladies, it's a great sight to see. Okay, Um, yeah. So, coconut dealer, honey dealer, I got them. I got a man for everything. I'm doing good over here. And I love a great back. Oh my gosh. There was a time, okay, I'm going to say this and then I got to go, because I shared with everyone, since the shaving of the hair and the hair color, I've just stepped into a new space. None of my clothes resonate. I'm donating everything. Like, all of my clothes are gone. There's a few things that I love. Like my favorite vintage Levi's, they get better with time. Like Levi's, I have those and they get better with the years. But everything else, it's like, it doesn't inspire me. It's going to the consignment shop to be sold, and the rest is getting donated today. Like, nothing is attracted. I don't want it. So I've donated everything. There's a few things my staple loves, but it's very few. I may have 20 items, if that. I'm releasing. There's beauty that has came and is still coming, and maybe that's part of it. However, I hear it and I feel it, and I know when it's just time to release. Even my dishes, I looked at them like, I don't even want, these don't even resonate. I'm gonna donate this. Like, there's a clearing that's happening. And then my coconut guy's upper body just popped into my head, and it's quite an invigorating view. So I went, yes. Thank you. Come anytime, veteran. I love you, and heal well, because you are. I know, Sherry, listen, I can be a mess, but I'm a great mess. People know. Thank you. I even say, like, I'm a good crazy. Like, you got to know you're crazy. No one would ever say, oh, Hope's crazy. No, they say, oh, yeah. Hope is crazy. I like Hope. That's how it's said. So I'm a good crazy. No one ever complains about that. However, I do like a good back and a bicep, and I will close with this. I went on a barefoot waterfall hike, which I often do, with two friends of mine. One came in to see me from London. We used to live in London together. And one from Denver, who lived with me in London. And we were on this hike to this beautiful waterfall that I love. And there was this beautiful gentleman. He was God's gift, I have to say. And he was wearing a shirt that said, "Be nice." I believe the universe works very blatantly for me. He had this shirt that said, "Be nice." He was extremely healthy and hydrated and athletically defined. And he was talking to me on the hike, because within Hawaiian culture, there is a ceremony when you enter the nature space. You grab a rock. I'm going to grab this quartz, pink quartz, that I got from Lekki Market in Nigeria when I was in Lagos for a wedding. So you would take a rock, whatever rock that speaks to you on your hiking trail, and then you gather a tea leaf, which is a native plant here in Hawaii, and you take the rock and you take one leaf from the tea tree plant, and you wrap the rock in the tea tree, and you do a little prayer, and you ask to enter the nature space with respect. And you can say a little prayer like, "I'm coming for clarity. Thank you for everything you provide." And it's just a sign of gratitude for the earth, for the sacred space. As you should listen. I know. I will keep your attention. Thank you, Silos. I'm always excited when you come in. So after you say your little prayer and gratitude and asking for permission to enter the forest, you place it on a rock or on the ground or by the water, wherever. And the man with the "Be Nice" shirt said, "What are you doing?" Because he was behind me. I said, "Oh, I was taught this by a native Hawaiian. And so anytime I'm in the nature space, this is my offering. And this is what you do. And then once you know, when you're on a hike, you can see everyone's blessing. You can see everyone's prayer, because you'll see these rocks wrapped in the tea leaves, and it brings the element of beauty and happiness and joy to myself. And once you're aware, you see how many people are giving a sign of gratitude and blessings. He said, wow, that's amazing. Thank you for teaching me that. And he was there. Yes. And to me, everything is a ritual. And he was there with some friends who were here on the island, and he was hiking barefoot, which I love. If I see you, these are the things I love. If I see you barefoot hiking, that's like maybe the equivalent to maybe a Chanel purse to someone else. Because I'm like, wow, he's grounded and he's hiking without shoes. Like that's a great start. And he was gorgeous and very, very in shape. So he began to talk to me, but my two girlfriends were in front of me. And of course he wanted to continue to talk to me. And I said, all right, I love this. However, I got to catch up to my girlfriends, and it was wonderful teaching you this ritual. But I'm going to go in front of you, and I'm going to keep going. And matter of fact, the fact that I'm in front of you, you have a wonderful view. Because anyone who's behind me, baby, you got a beautiful view on this hike. And he just started laughing. Yeah, and you still could. I mean, this is a gentle walk. There's not much incline. It's really a flat walk. And I believe in you, Sherry. However, he did have a nice view behind me. And he fell in love, as they do, because when you see me on a trail, it's like, oh my gosh, what? So we made it to the waterfall. And me and my friends jumped in the waterfall. You can climb up, there's rope, and it's amazing. This guy took off his shirt, and his back was like chiseled by the gods, really. It was everything. And he was so excited. He was like, Hope! Hope! Watch this! And he started scaling the rock and doing backflips like, Hope! 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 Watch me! I was like, this guy, he's beautiful, but like, it felt like we were on the jungle gym and we were like in 4th grade. Like, Hope, I'm present. I'm here in the water. Now I'm looking at you. Trust me, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at them arms. I'm looking at that back and the backflips. He was like a total beautiful man, Sherry. Woo-wee. Such a beautiful view. Me and both of my friends were like, look at nature. Look at this. Then he started speaking, he was American, but he started speaking Spanish. Both of my friends, I'm conversational, but both of my friends are fluent Spanish speakers. One of my friends is Colombian, and my other friend learned and taught Spanish for several years, probably close to 20 years now, 15 years. And so anytime I hear, especially an American, speak another language, because I'm multilingual, that will get me. That will get me. If you start speaking French and then I can speak French to you, oh my gosh, I'm yours. And Portuguese, oh my gosh, when are we setting the date? So there was some other Argentinians, because there's a huge Argentinian population on the island, and he was speaking about Argentina. And all of us have a lot of stories in Argentina, because I would go to Argentina a lot. A friend of mine lived in Argentina, and she was there, and it was all beautiful. However, his back and his arms, there's some real beauty out here, and I'm here for it. I'm here to observe it all, okay? Portuguese. Wonderful. Keep going. It's beautiful. And if you see a beautiful man's back or arms, sit and watch. And I will watch, and I'll tell them thank you. Just thank you. One time he said, why? I said, just thank you. Just thank you for being you. Because I love that. So, make the best out of what life brings to you, because you will. You will when you allow it to exist. And you're not old. Take that out of listen, you're here. The goal is to become old. Then you have stories, you have substance, you have something to say, you have something to add. So I don't see old as negative. I just don't use that word. I'm everything but. It doesn't matter. Listen, everybody's going to enjoy the view. I don't care how old you, that thing don't matter. I'm enjoying the view. Okay? Okay? Doesn't matter what your age. If you see me, enjoy the view. Exactly. 70, I love it. I love it. I love it. I always say I am going to live a healthy, flexible, resilient, athletic, present 115 years. I will be that hot 100-plus-year-old with some Levi's cutoffs, running 5 miles, eating fresh fruit, like all of these accolades. Yeah, that's beautiful. So I'm there you go. Be the reflection of love, because you are the infinite reflection of love. We all come from an infinite space of love. Show up, because I show up. This is why we show up. All you gotta do is show up. The rest has already worked. You just gotta show up. And whatever that means, just show up. Don't put it off. Show up. If it's studying the language, show up today and study. When you show up, make it look good. You see me, I'm always making it look good. Listen, green has been speaking to me all week. I wore a green lipstick the other day. Green, there's something about green, and I believe it's prosperity and finance and money energy that is always flowing to me in unique ways. So show up and make it look good. And the authenticity that is you is why you are you. So it needs to be seen. And I'll share that because I read something about self-editing, and I saw it in myself yesterday. And I said, no, I don't need to edit. I don't need to edit myself. That's me out of a people-pleasing space. Don't say that because they may think X, Y, and Z. You don't know what someone's thinking. That's my thought and my projection. So I won't edit myself. I will be authentically me, which is always loving and kind and compassionate. I won't edit me. Do not edit yourself. Show up in your authenticity. Someone needs to see it, and that someone is definitely you. Furthermore, don't put honey in the fridge, because from what I found, it can cause accidents that aren't so what? Yeah, if someone can, maybe they can, maybe it takes time. I'm not even worried about if they are. That's not even in my thought pattern, because it's looking good over here. Yeah, I ain't watering myself down. Maybe I am with a little coconut water. Yeah, that's what I'm going to leave you with. No honey in the fridge. From my perspective, it can lead to things that aren't necessary, like it slipping out of your hand and injuring a family member's foot. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. No honey in the fridge. I challenge you to have your own honey dealer. Get a guy. Just get a guy. Good seeing you, Sherry. Get a guy. I got a coconut guy. I had a honey guy. I'm calling that in. And I have a, okay, that's it. So, I love you all. Sherry, love you. Los COS, love you. James, I don't see you, but you're typically here. Love you. There's a few of my other regulars, veteran, I already shouted you out. Cassandra, love you. I know you already went to bed. That's how my mom said, girl, get in the bed. Roll your hips to the bed. And yeah, she went to bed. I'll see her tomorrow or later today. I'm going to finish this, and it's bike time. I also offered, if you missed the live, I upload all of my lives onto my YouTube page, which is entitled Hope is Speaking. Just go to the daily TikTok lives. They're all there. I usually have them on there the same day or the next day. and it's just this. I have some meditations and affirmations, and that's another space. There's some beautiful elements that are coming. I received beautiful opportunities that I am excited to share. I'm still waiting on vocalizing it, but I know everyone will be excited because we're all here in this together, and when one wins, we all win. There's enough for everyone. There's no lack. So when you win, I win. When I win, you win. We all win. We're all winning together, and that's it. So keep winning. And don't put honey in the fridge. So that's it. I love you. I'll see you later. Make today great, because you got a little hope, and it's getting better in the moment. Be aware of the beautiful surprises that are with you. They're just waiting for the perfect moment to reveal themselves. Ciao.